Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest tonight she's a filmmaker, an actress, and a writer, Jenny Spain. How's it going, Jenny?
Hey, how's it going? Good.
All right, thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't believe it. It's the 15th anniversary of Dead Girl.
It just does not seem real. It doesn't seem real. 15 years.
I know.
Can you believe it?
I can't believe it either. That movie was so disturbing when I watched it. It is right up there with the other movie that gets under my skin as well, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
You know what? I have not seen that. But it pops up on my Netflix every now and then, and I always look at it. I'm like, next time. Next time. So it's sitting there, it's waiting, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, you need to watch it. It's a trip.
Is it?
Yes. No, let's talk about Dead Girl. How were you approached with that role? Was that role made for you, or did you have to audition for it?
I auditioned for it. A friend of mine was actually working on the production, and he reached out to me and he said, Jen, I think you're going to be perfect for this. And so they just sent me just a little bit of information about it, and I had very little direction when it came to my audition. So the director just said, okay, just be a zombie, act dead, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, I watch zombie movies and horror all the time. I got this. And yeah, I just did it. It just all came naturally, and real life zombie.
I like I said, real life zombie. So, how tough was it for you to do certain scenes in the film? How mentally prepared for you? Did it wear and tear on you doing that role?
You know what? It took a lot of preparation, just because of the content of the film, how difficult it is, and just knowing that there's just going to be so much backlash. So I really had to put myself in a place of being that victim and having all of those emotions and all of those feelings just kind of overcoming, and just going out there and just unleashing it all. And it's a place where nobody wants to go. Nobody wants to be put in that position and have to think or feel any of that. So it was very challenging.
So after you did the film, when it was finally over for that character, was it hard for you to get out of that state of mind?
No, I was just quickly just in and out, in and out. I'm pretty busy, so I like to just kind of keep my mind flowing and going. But we were pretty set and pretty busy, after the film. It was kind of difficult and hard, discussing it with my family and the role and everything that I had to go through. And, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family did not want to see it, just like how nobody wants to see anybody that they love being hurt, even if it's a movie. But, no, I just kind of just went on to the next project.
Yeah, let's talk about a couple scenes in the movie. Let's talk about the dog scene.
Oh, I hated working with that dog. A dog. Oh, I'm never going to work with animals on film again. This was... So what did you have the question about the dog scene that
I did? Well, I thought it was I thought it was just a little weird and a little disturbing like that, how they would use a dog in a certain scene like that. Because I love dogs, and I hate to see dogs in certain situations, especially in horror films. I'm like, please don't hurt that dog. Put that dog in a weird position with that actor and actress and stuff. I don't want to see neither of them get hurt. It just bothers me when they put animals in certain scenes like that.
Yeah, you know what? But the dog had a very pivotal mark on the movie, though, because it added a little bit more of that darkness.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like a paranormal feel of like, where did this dog come from? Is this dog a source of evil? Is this dog connected to something that's going on and around? Because usually, you know, because dogs are very protective of, you know, their owners.
Yeah.
They're very territorial. So was this dog like actually a part of this woman? What was he protecting? So it just kind of makes you think in a certain sense of that dog.
It did make me certain sense. It kind of reminded me of like one of those hellhounds that you would hear in urban legends, like when you're like driving down a road, you'll see the hellhounds chasing you, or if you go near, if you go near a certain like grave or something something paranormal, you always see like a hellhound always watching over you.
Yes. And this dog, because I was completely nude. I was completely nude on this table, and working with this dog, I had the wrangler that was right next to me, and so it would have to look at the camera and do growl certain scenes. And so I'm sitting here thinking, going, oh my God, what if this dog steps on me? And he's got claws. Like, he's got the longest nails. I'm thinking, don't step on me. Don't step. And what did you know? The dog stepped right in between.
I know, especially they're lying there naked like that. I bet you just felt the cringe. You're probably going, ah.
And I told him, I said, that's it, I'm done. I said, okay, we got it. No, where's the first aid kit?
Oh my gosh. That's cool. So after the scene over, I bet you and the dog were pretty good buddies, right?
Oh no. That was probably the first time I've ever disliked an animal, because I'm an animal advocate, so I'm always like, you know, trying to save all these animals. But that was the first time. I couldn't tell if it was the wrangler that I hated the most or the animal.
And especially how you did your mannerisms, like in the zombie, like, so you were saying you watch a lot of zombie films. I bet you probably watched Shaun of the Dead. I bet you probably got ideas.
Yes. Okay, so that I actually watched that right before my audition.
Really? I just guessed that. I didn't know that. It kind of, because of the little thing, I was like, she's saying zombie. She had to watch Shaun of the Dead, because that's a great zombie film.
Yes, I was actually watching that just right before I did my audition, and it was so hard not to laugh because they were chucking the stuff at the zombies. What, I think it was the records.
Yeah, the records. It was that Batman Prince album record. He's like, no, not the Prince record. Hey, I'm just a fan of the zombie genre. That's why I was just asking, because, you know, you were like a zombie and all that, and how you like moved a lot. When you did like the emotions of it by watching zombies, did you get an idea from how if you were like a real life zombie, how they would move and creak? And
well, that's typically me in the morning when I get up.
That is,
you know, you just gotta roll with the punches and go with it.
Hey, that's what you got to do. I also heard you on another interview about the scene too, about the latex penis. I'm like, I was listening to that, go, okay, we know about that. Why would you bring something up like that if you're talking about a film role?
Oh my gosh! So Jim, the special effects artist,
yeah.
he had brought it up because that was probably one of the most challenging. So challenging, because I had one try. And I had to nail it. And this fake molding rubbery penis was filled with fake blood. So I had to literally fight and dig, grab, and pull it apart. And I only had one chance to do it. And man, just looking up over at Andrew De Palma, and he's looking down at me, and he's like, "Oh," and I'm with my eyes, I'm saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry."
You know something?
I just hear everybody on set just like, "Oh, I don't want to see this." Oh. So.
Shoot, I'm thinking about it right now, and it's giving me the cringes too.
Yeah, I'm like sweating just thinking about it. It's like, yeah. No, that was challenging, and it wasn't small either.
Hey, bigger the better, right?
It was actually a molding of one of the special effects artists that worked on the film as well. It was a molding of his, and he made sure to tell me that. He goes, "Hey, just so you know, this is a molding of my."
Hey, he was part of somatic history, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get into another subject. But anyways, so you grew up watching horror too. I did a little research on you too. What was that one film that really lured you into being a big horror fan? What was that one film that still sticks to you today when you were young?
Let's see here. So when I was a little girl, my dad would sit me in front and we would watch horror movies. And I remember one time where he sat me in front of the TV and The Exorcist was on.
Ooh.
And there was a part where there was like blood that was like everything was coming out. And I'm just sitting here just thinking like, oh my God, like what am I watching? But it was, you know, when you're young, you're trying to not think of it as real, and then you're thinking, okay, this is a movie. But yeah, no, that's exactly where it all started. And my dad would, you know, take us to, he actually dropped it when Chucky came out. And my best friend and I were just really young, and he dropped us off at the movies. He bought our tickets, dropped us off at the movies, did not tell us what we were watching. And we were just young. We were little. And it was Chucky. It was Chucky. My mom was pissed. She was pissed because I couldn't have my dolls. I would sleep out in the hallway. Like, it was just, what are you trying to do to her? That's where it all began.
Wow, the one movie that got me into horror was actually two of them. It was The Exorcist, which you mentioned. I couldn't sleep for a week, and I had to have my lights on in my bedroom when I went to bed. And then the second film that got me into it was the original Phantasm with Angus Grimm as the tall man. He creeped the living hell out of me.
Oh, The Gate.
Oh, that movie was a trip.
The Gate, I remember watching when I was little, and I just couldn't even look at my family and friends the same anymore. I was terrified, absolutely terrified, thinking, oh my God, are you real? Are you going to like crumble into like little demons? Did you ever, like with that film, whenever you saw like a gate or something or wood on the ground, did you ever think there was a hole underneath?
Yeah, I did, because when I was younger, I mean, I grew up in California most of my life, but when I was younger, we lived in North Dakota, so we're out in the country, and I remember watching that film out there, so I would be walking in the woods, and you know how you go to the woods, and there's like, your neighbors have these old crooked gates? I would be like imagining going like this, I don't know if I should go over there or not. I'm afraid I'm going to fall and die and go to hell. Yep, I still think the same. Oh, it's great. Those movies can really, really have an effect. They're just so original and so great that they just stick with you. I think so too. Now let's talk about another thing you're going to be doing. You're a creator and a director of an upcoming indie horror film, There Is Evil. So how'd you come up with that idea? Since you're big into horror, you must have that twisted little evil mind.
Well, yes, that too. It was actually based on my best friend who had passed away.
Okay.
So it was based on a true story, actual events of the horrors of not knowing who your real friends are and what's real and what's not. So it's a major mind fuck of a movie that will just make you sit there and think and look at the people around me like, are you going to kill me? Like, what's really going on in their minds and their heads, you know? And I think it's just so terrifying. That is so terrifying to think of. And it happens. It happens.
Oh, it happens anywhere. It happens in life. It happens at any type of job. You can be like in the film industry. You can be like a regular worker. You can enjoy your everyday life. And it's true because you really don't know who your legit friends are and who are your real friends. And then sometimes your mind will play with you and give you like all these messed up thoughts. So I think this is kind of cool how you're doing it. I like those little psychological type of horrors that will keep you on the edge of your seat and then keep you guessing. So
there's gonna be some paranormal twists. There's just gonna be all kinds of good, crazy stuff.
So, when this film finally comes out, are you going to be showing it through the festival circuit first, or is it going to go streaming, or is it going to go to the theaters?
I'm going to do the festival. We're going to do the theaters. I already have some big people that I can't announce quite yet.
What?
That are actually behind in investing. I want to say it so bad.
Can you say just one? Can you just say one person? Just one?
All right. Okay. I'm going to do it.
Just one.
I'm going to do it. All right. And this is just going to be a little teaser.
Okay.
Marvel and DC.
Ooh, that could go either or. Now you have my attention. Now, after this podcast is over, I'm going to be playing in my mind, and I'm going to be like hounding you in DMs going, is it that person? Is it that person? Oh, man, you got me at Marvel and DC, so that's going to be kind of cool. So this person who's in Marvel and DC, are they like a big one? So are they like So when you brought them onto your project, are they like a big horror fan as well?
I originally pitched it, and we were talking about it, and just kind of looking at investors.
Mm-hmm.
And so really liked it. Really liked the name. The idea. Was already talking about doing feature stuff and red carpet, New York, Paris, all that kind of stuff. So
awesome.
And there's more. So I got to keep it. That's it.
All right. Thanks for the little hint, but now you got me wanted. I want to see this movie, not because of that actor. I just like the premise of movies. I like that. So is the film going to be mostly like practical effects as well? Is it going to be like a psychological practical effect type of film?
It's going to be psychological. It's going to be a psychological horror.
Nice. Now, another thing we both like, let's talk about a little bit of paranormal and what lured you into paranormal. You were also part of an investigation with the ghost hunters. What was that like on the Queen Mary? I've never been on the Queen Mary. I've just heard stories about, you know, how it feels like you're being watched and you feel uneasy. So how'd you become part with the ghost hunters? And then did you attract anything while you were on the Queen Mary?
I'm good friends with Grant Wilson and Dave Tango, Chris Fleming, a lot of the guys. And I was invited to do an episode on the Queen Mary, and I only had little time to do it because I had to jump on a flight just a few hours later. But we picked up some pretty phenomenal, like, evidence and stuff. I had a Barbie doll that I was holding, and we were told that there were a couple little girls that were in the pool room. And so when I was talking to little girls, my legs would get cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then start getting chills. Like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. The Barbie would bend and it twisted like this.
Wow.
And so they went and they did a sped up version of it, of the Barbie, like, literally doing a complete twist.
Wow.
And I felt, because the Barbies can bend, their legs could bend, but
Yeah.
it takes some force to, like, really, bend the legs. And something's just not there paranormal, but that's there to have that force to be able to bend that body. It's just, ooh.
I just don't like haunted dolls, period. I don't like dolls or anything like that. And I was like, no, I'll stay away from the haunted dolls. I'll try everything else. So were you, like, into the paranormal most of your life? Besides, being with ghost hunters, have you ever had any personal experiences yourself?
Yes, ever since I was a little girl. I always picked up on energies, saw things that weren't there. When I was younger, we've experienced a lot of, phenomenons that happen in our houses. And I wanted to learn more about it and investigate it, and just to make sure I'm like, hey, okay, I'm not going crazy here, because there are people in this household who don't believe in ghosts are actually experiencing the same thing I am. So I wanted to actually capture it and then getting it on tape and audio. And I've had a lot of my friends from ghost hunters and ghost adventures that would clean up any background noise to actually get voices to where you could hear what was going on. And it's crazy. I had one because I used to live in Michigan.
Okay.
And I wanted to debunk this area. They called it the shoe tree, and it was based on some guy who'd go around, he killed children, and he would go and hang their shoes up on the tree. Well, it was probably about 11:45 at night, almost going on midnight, like -0 degrees outside, nobody out there on the lake, and on the video and audio, I caught a train, drums, a school bell, a train, and some whispering and talking. And when I cleaned it up, I caught a face, an image of a demon face. And I later found out that it was actually an Indian bear around the pond.
No way. Wow, I bet that really creeped you out.
That was the last time. That was the last time that I ever did an investigation, because it was terrifying, and I felt like it latched on to me, and we ended up having to move.
Oh wow! So when you finally moved, did it didn't attach to you? It followed you at all, or?
Yeah. That night when I went to bed, when I was trying to sleep, I felt like somebody sliced the bottom of my foot, and I smelled like a metallic smell that kind of smelled like blood. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing latched onto me, and I didn't know what it was until I actually went through and looked through the video and heard all the audio and found out that it was an actual Indian burial ground, that there's entities and negative attachments and all that stuff there. And so that was it. That was the end. I'm like, nope. You ain't coming home with me.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I have friends in the paranormal field or investigators too, and I did one at Bobby Mackey's, and I picked up a lot, especially down in the basement part. I picked up on my EVP little kids, playing around and stuff. And then right in the
Yeah.
basement, there's supposed to be like a portal where it goes to hell. And there was like a dressing room down there by a famous actress. She killed herself there. So when you go into that room, you can smell like rose perfume.
That is insane.
Yeah, and every time I go, they like to use me because they say I'm a magnet, I'm like a sensitive, and every time I go with them, we always pick up for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm around, we pick up a lot of stuff. But when I also leave, though, I tell them I'm like, hey, thank you for sharing your story, but you cannot come home with me. And you always got to say that because if you don't, you're gonna have. I've had attachment on me before too, but it only lasted for like 3 days. But yeah, I know what you're feeling when you feel like something's really following you home, and that really freaked me out a lot too. So yeah,
it happens. People don't understand that negative energies and entities and these things will attach to you, and they'll drain your energy, your spirit. So when you feel exhausted and tired, it's because you have the attachment that's latching onto you, sucking it all out.
Yeah, it's not it's not a pleasant experience, but I've been on a few other investigations, but I'm like, it's like, okay, I did enough. I'll just let the pros do it, because and then I always have other friends I've talked to said they want to do it. They're like real amateurs, and this is what I always tell them. I go, if you're gonna do this, make sure you have somebody with you. Don't go by yourself. And really do like a lot of research and see what you're really getting to. Because if you're going in there blinded, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of my friends would say, "Hey, Jen, there's a prayer that you're supposed to use. When you go in and out. It's the same thing as when you're using a Ouija board."
Oh, I would never mess with a Ouija board.
Oh no! We had one that was one of the originals from back in the 70s.
Wow.
One of it was falling apart, and my daughter had gotten into it and used it by herself at night, candles, everything, and welcomed some pretty bad things into the house. I had to get a demonologist. I had to put the salt around the windows, the doors, do prayers. Yeah, those things. Don't mess with those.
Especially, because like demons and entities like that will attach to little kids, because for some reason kids and animals can see that because they're totally open. Than like me and you, we're not really as open. They're like more like the easy targets.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, she's sensitive just like I am ever since she was a little girl. So this is a pretty crazy story.
Okay.
When she was about 2-3 years old, if we're living in Michigan, and I knew there was some stuff that was going on in the house. There was some paranormal stuff. Our cats would always try to scratch at the doors, wanting to get into the bathroom. One day, the door opened, and I had the child-proof knobs that were on there. One day, were opened, and I said to I said out loud, I said, "Hey, I'm trying to go to sleep. Can you please not do that?" And I closed the door, did it again. It opened. That night, my daughter was screaming, and she says, "Mommy, the man is here." And she jumped and she latched on me, and I'm thinking, going, "Oh my gosh, we've got something here." Where we lived, there's a lot of history. There was a lot of stuff that went down on that land. And I ended up picking up, and Grant Wilson helped me with this. He's the one who cleaned this audio. I picked up a voice, and it was a male and a female, and they sounded French. And the woman was saying, "Help him." And that was the woman saying, "Help him." And the man was saying, "I love her." And so I went across the street to one of the ladies at the market, and she was also a school teacher. And I said, "Hey, were there any French settlers here on land? And she says, oh, absolutely. That gave me chills. That gave me chills. And I found out that there was actually a man that had passed away on the area where I picked up those those voices. And yeah, it's an amazing, like, other world that I wish people would kind of look into, because it's wild. It's wild, it's scary, and it's beautiful at the same time.
I think so too. So, where can everybody find you on social media, and also for your upcoming movie, There Is Evil, so they know what's going on?
Okay, well, there's my Facebook. There is Instagram, so I'm always posting stuff on IG mostly. I have the official website. I have everything there to where they can get all the information, all the details. There's just a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, go there. We've already started beginning filming some scenes, and so more updates will be coming.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast.
Yeah, thank you. You're awesome. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, you're awesome. You were fun to talk to. All right. Everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight. Have